You see the headline, you know how this goes. Let's get into it. Letitia James's indictment is creating a profoundly awkward moment for Andrew Cuomo's New York City mayoral campaign, a dynamic that resurfaced the ex-governor's bitter antipathy towards his one-time ally who enabled his political downfall. Democrats across the country are rallying around James following her two-count felony indictment, which was spurred on by President Donald Trump and widely considered an act of retribution for her office's aggressive pursuit of a business fraud case against him. Cuomo, by comparison, was strikingly diffident in his early reaction, initially releasing a vague statement that criticized the weaponizing of the justice system, whether it comes from the right or the left. The equivocation produced eye rolls among New York Democrats who were otherwise galvanized by the James indictment and eager to leverage the case as a way to turbocharge turnout in next month's mayoral election. The former governor resigned 4 years ago on the heels of a devastating report released by James's office that determined Cuomo sexually harassed 11 women, which he continues to deny. Cuomo can't afford, though, to criticize James, a popular Democrat who hails from vote rich Brooklyn and the first black woman elected in New York statewide. James's legal battle with Trump's Department of Justice has effectively put the ex-governor in a box, unwilling to sympathize with the woman who triggered the end of his Albany reign, but unable to directly criticize how she's used her office to take on powerful men like him and Trump. James has also endorsed the mayoral run of Democratic nominee Zohran Mamdani, who leads Cuomo in recent polls by double digits. And let's forget that Trump has essentially moved mountains to get the sitting mayor out of the race to make room for Cuomo, who's currently running as an independent. But says a lot of things that are leaning towards the MAGA side. Andrew Cuomo, if you are too afraid to speak her name, let me give you a helping hand. Her name is Tish James, said the City Council Speaker Adrienne Adams, a former mayoral candidate. James's indictment is now a prominent subplot of the New York City mayoral race, a contest that stands to be impacted by Trump's desire to prosecute the popular two-term Democrat. In the hours after the two-count mortgage fraud indictment, Democratic activists across the country began strategizing how to help James and capitalize politically on the Republican president's desire to put her in prison. A conference call organized in part by the NAACP with more than 100 black women political activists held Thursday evening became a virtual rally for the Attorney General, said Jasmine Gripper, the co-director of the New York Working Families Party. Plans were made on the call to support James's legal defense and energize Democratic voters. The political bolstering of the Attorney General is immediately spilling over into the wildly unpredictable Big Apple mayoral contest, with the expectation it will boost turnout in the deep blue city, according to interviews with a dozen Democratic strategists, officials, and activists. The New York City mayor's race is a barometer on how much New Yorkers don't like Trump and they want the leader who is going to stand up against him, Gripper said. It's why you're going to see a rallying cry for Zohran and Tish James. It's a roar for our democracy. That's why I found it very peculiar that Eric Adams just continuously cowers to the Trump administration. Don't nobody in New York like Trump? Put plainly, Cuomo cannot alienate Democrats eager to push back against Trump as the mayoral race enters its final weeks. In his native city, where he is highly unpopular with voters, the president has meddled in its political affairs in the last 10 months, efforts that include dangling potential jobs to Mayor Eric Adams in order to get him out of the race in a bid to help Cuomo, who lost the Democratic primary to Mamdani and is running in the general election as an independent. Democrats have tried to leverage their base's anger towards Trump in the decade since his first White House victory and harness the left's wish to see someone battle the president. The party plans to frame Mamdani's potential election win as an early rebuke of the president's first year back in office. There will be rallies until this damn thing is dismissed. And then some, Manhattan Democratic Chair Keith Wright said. Tish is beloved in the state of New York, upstate and downstate. She's probably one of the most conscientious and forthright elected officials I have ever encountered. People will be tripping over themselves to spearhead a rally. More so than the previous indictment of ex-Federal Bureau investigation director James Comey, the James indictment has galvanized an otherwise fractious Democratic Party against the president's efforts to leverage federal prosecutors against a political foe. Aiding James's cause with fellow Democrats is her long tenure in New York's politics, a resume that includes the city council and the public advocate's office. Some Democrats tried to prod her into the mayoral race as Cuomo, perceived as a heavy favorite, was preparing to run last year. James ultimately declined but became an enthusiastic Mamdani supporter. What it will do is shine a light on some of the tactics that the crazy president is doing at the local level against the city of New York, said Democratic strategist Lupe Todd Medina. It's just another example of how he's trying to tarnish the city of New York. It's in his playbook. He's opening the book and saying, "Today, I'm going to do this." Cuomo's Thursday night statement, which took a generalized swipe against a politicized justice system and could easily have referred to his own resignation 4 years ago, was followed up a day later with a comment that referred to James by name. He also referenced efforts during Trump's first term to probe the Cuomo administration and other blue state governors' handling of the pandemic. The second statement, nevertheless, condemned Democratic efforts to leverage the justice system against political foes. The weaponization and politicization of the justice system is wrong no matter which side you are on, period, Cuomo said in a statement. Ooh, is that fence comfortable? Because you're straddling it hard, Cuomo. It is wrong when Trump's DOJ does it or when a Democrat does it. When did a Democrat do it? And it must be universally condemned. Excuse me, because when you got discovered for sexually harassing those 11 women, you were a Democrat. So once again, you're proving that she goes by the law, not partisanship. But one thing a predator is going to do is accidentally confess some things. But as always, you all let me know your thoughts in the comment section.